Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Today I have with me Major Madhan Kumar and we are going to discuss what the National Investigative Agency has unearthed thus far in the Coimbatore car blast. We're not going to talk about it as a cylinder blast. That would be like gross injustice. Now that we know it is something that is involving the integrity and security of the country. So joining us is Major Madhan Kumar, and he's going to walk us through what are the findings, where this thing is headed, and what we can expect. Major Madhan Kumar, namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskaram, sir. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind to you. And Major Madhan Kumar, so NIA has taken it over. One concern that has been expressed by Governor R.N. Ravi and also the TNBJP president is that it took 4 days for the government, the Tamil Nadu government, to say that, okay, now we shall hand it over to NIA. Sometimes what happens is evidence can be lost, connections can be broken, all sorts of things can go wrong. Why was this delay? And then we can go to the actual place.
The nature of the case as such is we see for the first 2 days in the 2 episodes you have covered in your channel. I did watch that.
The nature of the You've been watching.
Yeah. The nature of the case itself is that it's a cylinder blast, cause of unnatural death, and explosive act. So if you keep explosives at your place, you're bound to be legally prosecuted. So those are the 2 sections which were invoked on the very first day against Jamisha Mubin. Now, when we say explosive act, if you store excess of those chemicals which are used even in cracker manufacturing, that also comes under there. So, in the first 2 or 3 days, there is no mention of a single word called terror, sabotage, or terror-related activities, or an incident leading to a terror incident. So nothing of that sort was made. So that dilutes the entire, the sensitivity of the case. So that's why NIA, when they would have heard this, or even the Home Ministry, if it's a established blast case, it happened at 4 a.m. in the morning. So by 10, 11, if they were declared that this is a blast with an intent to cause terror among people or something related to that, or even UPA, then NIA kicks in the very same day. They don't have to wait for any permissions, because the incident where the place where the incident has happened is a key. So they'll straight away start their field inspection processes. They will go there. The police may continue their duty. That's a different thing. So they also will go and observe and see how this entire event has happened. So that has not happened in this case because of the reason I mentioned. It is not assumed, or it is not being declared as an act of terror.
So I'm going to, with your permission, start playing the video, and you can talk to us. And viewers, you can see the video. You can see the car moving about before it exploded. So there's a lot of footage here that will be probably seen by many of you for the first time. So here we go. Major Madhan Kumar, I'm starting the video now. So here we go. You can talk to it, sir.
Yeah, you can. In this video, you can see the car which flew past. That's a Maruti 800. Yeah, go ahead. That's a Maruti 800 car, which is an old one. You can see it on the frame. So this was captured in multiple CCTVs. This car has traveled for close down to 6-7 kilometers before it reached its location where this blast has happened. So the very interesting thing about this car is it is a 10th hand car, which means it has 9 owners prior to it, and Jamisha Mubin is the 10th registered owner. So logically, if one of us people buy used cars, they used to buy the second hand or the third owned car. But imagine somebody buying a 10th owned car. 9 owners are already there, so it's basically it's a scrap or a salvage. That's all. There's no commercial value to it. So this car was bought, and there were 2 cylinders placed inside the car. Indian commercial cylinders placed inside the car. And this particular car is traveling, to the destination. So what the charge sheet says is The car number is TN10F 5163, which is a 10th own car. So this particular guy, Jamisha Mobin, who is 25 years old, who is a resident of Ukkadam, Coimbatore, he picks up the car. He's a lone driver in the car. There's no co-passenger with him. So he drives down at the wee hours. It's around 4 a.m. in the morning. The car is close to, very, very close to a temple called Koteshwarar Temple. So it has reached there. And then something happened, this blast happened, and then the local police kicked in. We saw the initial videos of it going into flames. Now, post this incident, the raid happens. Means the Jamisha Mobin was identified that he is the person who died in the car incident, and then later his house was raided. When this house was raided, you see that CCTV video of 4 or 5 people picking up some huge loads of this thing. It's presumed to be a cylinder and explosives. So this CCTV grab came from the neighborhood of Jamisha Mobin. So Jamisha Mobin's neighbor's camera picked this up. You can see these 4 guys trying to lift a heavy weight and move it out of the home. This happened on the previous day night, that Saturday at around 11:30 p.m. IST. So after this, the house was raided. When the house was raided, the charge sheet, the FIR, NIA's first information report, has disclosed that 109 items were confiscated from that particular house of Jamisha Mobin. Now, in that 109, what all are there? So you can, I'll just read it out. Potassium chlorate, black powder, cracker fuse length of about 2 meters. Then you have nitroglycerin, red phosphorus. Then you have PETN, pentaerythral tetranite. Now, PETN, the point here is PETN is a kind of a raw form of RDX, the research and development explosive. So PETN's blast impact is high. It's a friction reacting explosive. It's used by most of the militaries in the world, be it a rocket or a shell or even a missile. They'll do. So this is a high reactive one. RDX is bit stable, which means you can carry without any. Every explosive is a flammable one, but it cannot be so reactive that it blasts off when you kind of make an attempt to make an IED or something. So in this case, this is a very highly reactive explosive. So they've got PETN, they've got aluminum powder, they've got small Oxy 99 cylinders, which is basically a pure gas cylinder, oxygen cylinder. Then you have sulfur powder, then you have sterile surgical blade, glass marbles, then you have 9-volt battery, the battery's clip, wire, iron nails, switch, gas cylinder, gas regulator, insulation tape, packaging tape, hand gloves, notebooks with details of Islamic ideology and details about jihad. This is what precisely the FIR says. So this FIR was filed on 27th, and the FIR has been made public. Now the case has been taken over by NIA, by a very experienced chief investigating officer. He will carry on this investigation along with Tamil Nadu police as much, because they are the one who have initially done all this. So this charge sheet, the list of materials, what we heard is nothing to do with the cylinder blast. So we have to slightly move away from calling it as a cylinder blast, because even I would use, and it's an amateur in this field of explosives and stuff. I can use a cylinder, I can create a little bit of an impact, but I don't have an access to all these explosives. So what we read out is clearly the pure raw materials of making an improvised explosive device. And the quantum of explosives, which is 75 kgs plus, means the objective is to have multiple blasts. We don't know where it is, where they have planned it, but clearly, logically, if you see, first point is, it is to create a blast. It is to create an improvised explosive device, which is called as an IED. Second, the quantum of explosives, which is 75 kg, as disclosed by the police, clearly says that it's a larger incident which they have planned. It's for multiple places or multiple locations which they have planned. because for PETN, PETN is actually powerful than TNT, trinitrotoluene. So PETN,
about 25% more powerful. Yeah.
25% more powerful. It is more reactive. It's friction based. The more friction you place, the more the impact of the blast will be. So PETN, 100 to 150 grams of PETN, a control, an IED can actually blow away a car. Here we have 75 kgs of multiple explosives coming in with all those iron nails and stuff. So three things in an explosive or in an IED. One is the explosive itself, and then how do you detonate? That's the second part. And the amount of friction you apply, that's the third part. And you have these amplifiers, which is that sharpeners, nails, glass pieces. So when this blast occurs, people who are in the killing range of the blast, which is, say, for example, 50 meter would be a killing range for an explosive. For a hand grenade is around 20 meters, 10 to 20 meters. So whoever is there in the 20 meters or a 50 meters killing range or eventually will get killed because of the impact of the explosive, the thermal energy produced by the explosive. Thermal energy and the reach, the velocity which it travels. Second is the secondary impact. If you use the sharpeners, the marbles, the glass pieces and all, it scatters and it travels at a much, much higher velocity. Now that will take off somebody's eyes. It may tear off somebody's stomach. So it is going to give, that's called a splinter injury, which may eventually lead to death. So that is going to amplify the effect of the entire explosives IED which is planned. So in this case, the raw materials clearly says that's the nature of the incidents which these guys have planned. Now there is one more.
Yeah, go ahead. Please continue. Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk, sir. No problem.
So one of the guys who has been rounded up, his uncle as well as his father are under jail for the 1998 bombings. So, if a family starts doing it this way, then there is a big problem in the sense, Major Madhan, every family associated with a previous bombing is suddenly now is going to be looked at with suspicion. I mean, there is no such thing as here these people have turned a new leaf that we don't want to do anything anymore. And it's like, oh no, what this guy did was right, even though he's serving a term in jail. It has been proven that he was a mastermind and so on and so forth. Now, the details that we are listening today indicate that they were trying to probably plan an even bigger event than the 1998 5 or 6 place explosion in Coimbatore.
So the person you mentioned, he's under arrest now under UAPA.
Yes.
He's Mohammed Dulka. He's son of Nawab Khan. Yes. Nawab Khan is a convicted criminal in the 1998 bomb blast. Nawab Khan is also brother of Basha, who's again the kingpin of this entire 98 blast. So they both have been convicted. They're undergoing their life imprisonment in Coimbatore jail. So this is definitely a worrisome, this is not a legacy to be claimed and created and then you take on for generations. So that is one thing. So fundamentally, this one incident and what it led to clearly is not going to do anything for anyone. It's not going to do good anything for anyone. It's be the people who have done it or be to any community, caste or creed, it is not going to do. So there is fear among Kovai people. If you speak to them, they will tell you. The other parts of Tamil Nadu have started noting it. What if happens here? Why can't it happen here? See, the bomb blast is one thing which I always tell the journalists or even the allied panelists who ask me, how can we preempt it as terror angle? Why can't it be why? So the why and why, I'll tell them only one answer. I happened to speak to one of the families of a Mumbai 2611 victim. So that has happened long time back in 2008. So 14th anniversary is what we are going to do in next month. You can never recover from that trauma. Those who have seen the blast, those who have lost their lives, those who got injured, those who have lost their close ones, it is worse than a life imprisonment which you are giving it to that person who has no clue of whatsoever or what has happened. It is not his or her fault. They are common people who are assembled in railway stations. They're common people living a common life, have their own aspirations in life. If those people are getting killed, butchered for some ideology, for some reason, or some jihad, that is not going to do any justice. So that's very, very clear. Even in this incident, now the Islamic Jamaats have come out. They have done a good thing, and they have refused burial for this character, Jamisha Mubin. Ultimately, they said that we are not going to be party to this, or neither we support this. We are going to really help out in investigations, and they are going to guide. So this is the risk of radicalization, which we have been speaking in PGurus for quite some time. When I say radicalization, it's not that posting a Facebook post or a social media post with some sort of offense, or with a vengeful mentality. That's not the case. The radicalization is a bigger issue. What we saw a couple of days back is one of the effect of radicalization. There are multiple ways, there are multiple strategies which these guys operate. The second thing is, in this case, there is a news that Jamisha Mobin has put up a WhatsApp status or a Facebook status which says that forgive me, and participate in my funeral, play for me, and I'm going to die. So a dying suicide confession, and a guy making a bomb. It also tells that he is ready, and he was ready to do this. And this also clearly takes us to a clear doubt, that is it a suicide attack? Well, that has much more complications, because law agencies, especially police, any state police, not about Tamil Nadu, any state police, are not equipped to take on suicide attacks. Even the professional military struggles. We call it as a Fidayeen attack in Kashmir. Fidayeen attack is you can factor it, you can train, you can do mock drills, but per se, Fidayeen attack is the most worst form of this thing. All likely 90% chance that the terrorists would win. So that's a bigger problem here. And third one is with the amount of explosives they had, it is not a single blast or aimed at a single entity, institution, or a building, or a individual person. It is on a broader place. We really don't know. None of the charge sheet or the FIR has given out the detail. Only when the case progresses, the investigation goes on, will come to know which all establishments were targeted.